According to the Biden administration, Afghan refugees are being screened and vetted thoroughly, but we're now getting reports of rapists and people on terror watch lists that have already arrived in America. Joining us for more on this is former acting Border Patrol Commissioner and Heritage Foundation visiting fellow Mark Morgan is with us. Mark, good to see you.
Good morning.
Mark, we haven't talked about the border in a couple of weeks. This Afghanistan disaster has sort of taken over the news cycle, understandably. But it concerns me that first of all of our allies from Afghanistan, these are true political refugees. So I'm all for that process. But the vetting process is key to that. People forget, but in 2001, these terrorists, several of them, were trained in South Florida. That's where they took their flight school. That's where they went to flight school. So we don't know right now who we've let in already. How concerned are you about this?
So, look, I'm gravely concerned about this. Look, we are the most compassionate nation on the face of the planet. And that's one of the reasons why this country is so great. And I also believe we have a moral obligation to help those, specifically those SIVs, those Afghans that helped our military forces in Afghanistan. But look, we cannot abandon our common sense. We need to continue, and I think we can, temper that compassion, that moral obligation with our robust, common sense, extensive vetting process. Look, we do not need to make one mistake after another. We can slow this down. We should err on the side of caution rather than speed. Look, these individuals were hastily evacuated. Let's put them to third countries, slow it down, make sure we do extreme vetting, and we do not introduce a single threat in the United States. That's what we should be doing. We can, and we're not.
Yeah, hastily evacuated, I think, is putting it delicately. They were stuffed onto planes and flown out of there without any vetting whatsoever, at least in the country of Afghanistan. Jen Psaki was asked about this during her press briefing yesterday, specifically about the vetting process. Take a listen.
There is a process that includes not just a thorough background check and vetting process, but as individuals come to the United States, some will end up going to military bases where they will have access to a range of resources, including vaccines.
Again, it's back to the vaccination of refugees. What we were looking for in a response from our press secretary is specifics, how specifically they're being vetted. And to date, today, September 1st, we've yet to get any information on the specifics.
Yeah, that's right. You're one of the few hosts that really are talking about that, and you're spot on. Look, it was more spin. First of all, she was very generic, and then she immediately went to a subject matter that wasn't even part of the question. Look, that's exactly right. What are the specifics? And let's remember, who was allowing all these individuals in? The Taliban, because we had given up that primary vetting responsibility at the very front end of who was actually going to be allowed to into the airport. Look, DHS own intelligence officials said that they can't rule out that terrorist organizations would not exploit that process that was going on. Look, I don't fault the military. They were given a direct order, but unfortunately, look, I've been supporting this government, serving this government for 35 years. I've been in operations where speed was the primary objective. But look, when you do that, things are going to fall through the crack. And I believe now that when we're dealing with a terrorist state filled with multiple terrorist organizations, even though the president is confused that Al-Qaeda is there, they are alive and well. Look, that puts it in a whole different world.
Quick question. I don't mean to cut you off there. 10 seconds. I'm just curious. So we know they're at Fort Bliss, Texas, and 4 other bases throughout the United States. They don't stay there permanently. How long do political refugees, typically stay at military installments throughout the U.S.?
Look, this is a new one. So they're making this up as they go along. Wow. What I will tell you is the SIV applicant process, that takes months, sometimes years to go through that extensive, meaningful process. And right now they've relegated this to days, and they're dumping people in the United States where the vetting process hasn't been completed. And real quick, one last thing. We've already heard reports that Afghan refugees on these bases have already walked off the bases.
But I'm glad to hear they're being vaccinated. We don't care about the millions that have crossed over the southern border and their vaccination status, or even if they have COVID or the Delta variant. But these refugees will all be vaccinated. Thank you, Jen Psaki. Mark Morgan, good to see you again, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, a lot more.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.